Morning, Esther.
Good
Thank you
morning,
for coming
Esther.
in. So let's go back to that 7-year-old you, 7-year-old Esther and her home life. What was it like?
It was really great. It was supportive. I've got 2 older sisters and we're a really close family. And yeah, all really good friends and everything. And one of my sisters isn't very well, so she was often on high-calorie diets. She had to eat lots of high-calorie food. And
She's
then
got cystic fibrosis.
yes, that's right. Yeah. And then me and my other sister, we were kind of the opposite. You know, we were chubby, especially myself. And so it was very much like keeping our calorie count down.
What about parents? What about your mum and dad?
They were great. They were really awesome parents.
Thin?
My dad is thin. My mum isn't particularly, but again, not like massively obese or anything, just kind of large. Just had 3 children. She's, yeah.
But she was dieting on and off throughout her life and always
yeah.
constantly on some sort of diet, whether it be a fad diet or this, that and the other.
Sure,
So
yeah.
sort of diet and exercise was very much the topic of conversation in your house.
Yeah.
So you're age 7, and how did this come about, this suggestion for you to go on a diet, and why, I suppose?
I think I was overweight, and so I think my parents saw that as an unhealthy thing, and so they wanted just to encourage me to be more healthy, and for them that meant doing some exercise and just watching what I eat and calorie counting and everything like that.
So what was the diet that they suggested? It was like a very heavy calorie counted and weighing and...
Yeah, so there were kind of, each day we had a number of points that we could use up, and each food had different number of points and stuff. So we did that. We were very focused on how many calories were in everything.
So it sounds sensible. But I mean, you're here to tell us that it's not.
Yes.
And you're here also to tell us, although your folks did the best they possibly could, and you love them dearly, they got
Very
it
much.
wrong. It became obsessive, didn't it?
Slightly. I don't know that I'd use the term obsessive, but it became something that was a big deal. And me losing weight became something that was just my focus. I think it was my parents' focus a lot. And then it just led into some really, really unhealthy...
Well, there were things that happened at the dinner table. I mean, people joked. I think your grandparents, when you had dinner, what happened with dinner with your grandparents?
Yeah, there's one, my granddad, we'd sat round for dinner with him, and he went and got out a massive serving spoon and was like, "Oh, this one's better for you." And it was meant to be a joke, and everyone laughed it off and stuff. But that was hurtful.
You can never know when you say something like that how much it lands, though.
Sure.
And it landed with you. That
it did.
hurt.
Yeah.
And also, because everything at home was quite controlled, you became a bit secretive about what you were eating.
Totally. I'm like the master of like secret eating and like sneaking down to the kitchen in the night to eat
what were you
chocolate
doing?
and stuff.
See, how were you?
Yeah, so I would literally sneak into the kitchen at night and eat things that I wasn't allowed to during the day. And kind of if we had a cake, I'd kind of get a little slice of it when nobody else was in the kitchen and stuff like that. I was very kind of just getting bits here and there.
Well, they got you an exercise bike.
Not me personally, we've got a family exercise bike.
But you cheated on that as well.
Yes, I worked out where in the cycle was kind of the calorie counting bit, where it went up, or for like the speed and everything. And so I just kind of go backwards and forwards over the speed thing to get the numbers up.
I see. So you worked that one out quite quickly.
Yes.
But it wasn't just at home, because you said that friends treated you differently because you were carrying the extra weight. In what way?
I think not all the time, but yeah, a lot of my friends would make comments, or like when you're kids, you like to dress up in each other's clothes and stuff. That was never an option because I was always bigger. I had a friend tell me that I was too fat to play with her and her friends, her other friends and stuff like that. So it was definitely an issue.
Yeah.
By 16, what would you say your relationship with food was like?
Completely diabolical. I was binge eating and then starving myself for days afterwards because I felt guilty about it. I was on and off kind of trying to restrict what I was eating, but then not having the willpower and giving up like a day later and stuff. So it was completely all over the place, completely messing around with my metabolism and just my health.
And also your mental health, because... You know, and again, we say that obviously your relationship with your parents is brilliant and they were only trying their best, but because they were saying it would be better for you if you did this, and it was focused on your appearance, actually what that does for your mental health is people that should be loving you the most telling you that as you are isn't quite good enough.
Yeah, well,
that's
how
you
to
saw
change
it.
To be beautiful, or you need to lose some weight and then you'll be able to wear these things or look this way.
And why was that bad for your mental health, do you think?
Because I think for anyone to be told that they're not quite good enough, whether it's looks or academia or anything. There's just always this, you need to be enough and you need to be validated, and that didn't come from the people that I wanted it to.
Right.
I'm just looking down at the comments here. Shannon has made a point and said, if the parents just made better food choices without labelling it a diet, she might not have suffered so much. Do you think that's right?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, generally, we ate very healthily as a family. It wasn't that we were kind of eating really unhealthy foods. I think because of the high calorie versus low calorie, there was a lot of conflict in kind of what we were eating and what we were supposed to be eating and stuff.
And it did become a serious problem because you did eventually start binging and you did have bulimia. And that's incredibly dangerous and extremely serious.
For sure. And ironically, my bulimic kind of period was about a year in 2012. And ironically, that year when I lost a ton of weight and everyone was telling me how healthy I looked and how great I looked and how amazing it was that I was losing weight. But that was my lowest point and my most unhealthy with food.
Yeah.
So at what point did you get to the stage in your head where you were comfortable in your own skin?
I think it came when I was about 21. I'd had some knee surgery and I was going to the gym lots for rehab after surgery. And I realised how strong and capable my body was, even though it was fat. Like, regardless of how fat it was, it could do these things at the gym. I was astonished with what it could do. And I think that kind of triggered me into looking into body positivity. And I found some people on Instagram and I was like, oh, hold on, they're celebrating their bodies and they look like me. Like, there's no kind of, you wait until you look a certain way before you start loving your body.
There are going to be people, and I think sort of Dr. Chris would be one of the people that would actually say that is great. It is vital. You are happy in your own skin. But being overweight does come with its attendant health issues, the possibility of type 2 diabetes, all of those sort of things. So does that cross your mind, the actual, you may be brilliant in the gym, but carrying that extra weight could come with other problems?
I think for me personally, my mental health is my priority. And so obviously the physical health aspects, they're a concern and they are in my mind, but I need to be at a point where thin or fat or anything in between, I'm happy and comfortable, my head's in the right place. And everyone knows when your mind is in a good place, your body follows that. And so I think, just being happy in myself.
So back to the very beginning of this conversation, if there are parents watching this, which there will be lots, whose children are overweight and they're worried and they're concerned, what do they do? What's the first step?
Personally, I would say leading by example is so important. A parent who says all the time, oh no, I can't wear that because I look fat in it, or oh, I shouldn't eat that, that's really naughty, or those kinds of things. It's something we all do, but kids follow and copy what their parents do. And so I think leading by example, and even something as small as accepting a compliment when someone compliments you rather than saying, oh no, it's something so small and seemingly insignificant, but for children that's huge. And so leading by example, and then just living healthy lifestyles, going on family walks and eating dinners together and making healthy food choices together and as something that's fun but not restrictive and strict.
And maybe not labelling it like our viewer said, as a diet, or we're going to do exercise. It's like, we're going out, we're going to do this,
Exactly. And I think also not stressing so much. Like, kids change shape and they grow and they, like, a kid who's got too much weight on them, don't stress too much. It's not the end of the world. And if they grow up fat, they grow up fat, There are plenty of happy fat people around and there are plenty of happy thin people around. And, I don't think it's the biggest deal ever that everyone needs to focus on all the time.
Well, Esther, it's lovely to meet you.
And
thank you very much
so
for
much
coming in and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.